D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can read them for yourself, or you can just watch this video, or I'm going to break them all down for you. Before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so now that we got that business out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started on these 3 stories. So for my first story this week, oh, you guys, this is an exciting one. So it looks like The Devil Wears Prada is getting a sequel. Now, personally, I love The Devil Wears Prada. This movie is great. I love, I'm not really like, I love fashion. I love the fashion industry. It's not because I think that these old hags at Vogue or whatever, they know how to dress and nobody else knows how to dress. I just like the business aspect of the fashion world. It fascinates the shit out of me. For a while, I did want to work in the fashion industry, but not as a designer. I wanted to work with it's very, if you ever look into it, it's so interesting. I mean, it may not be interesting to you, but at least I found it very interesting, the whole business aspect of it. Anyways, so if you remember when this movie first came out in 2006, that movie was great. I love that movie. It was really, really, it was good. I liked Miranda Priestley from that, and I thought Meryl Streep did a great job of playing her. I like go-getters. I like people that are no nonsense, and I like that she may have been tough on her assistants, but she was teaching them lessons that they needed to learn. Now, this all comes from the book, The Devil Wears Prada, of the same name. Now, let me just say right now, I also really liked that book. I thought that but Meryl Streep, I didn't think it was nasty as she could be. But I did like her portrayal of it. I also liked Emily Blunt as her assistant, Emily. She was great. I like the scene where she's all like, I'm hearing a lot of this. I want to hear a lot of this. I use that a lot on my kids. I'm like, oh, you guys, be quiet. So what's going down here? Well, let me just pull up this article. And this is from Deadline, my favorite. I'm not going to read the article, of course, because I've already read it, and I'm just going to explain a little bit to you. So they're going to do a sequel. Now they haven't given a thing on who of the original cast has returned. Anne Hathaway she said a while back, like she was all like, I don't think that a sequel is possible. And she is wrong. Now, they have said that this will not, they didn't say it outright, and I don't think they said it in this article, but it won't be, because there is a sequel to the book, The Devil Wears Prada, and it's called The Revenge Wears Prada, The Devil Returns. And that one is Andy, who is played by Anne Hathaway. She is now, the book takes place, I believe, it's been a while since I read the book, but I believe it's 10 years after the original book. Those characters. So they're in the future, 10 years after that. And she is now getting married, and she's also the editor of a bridal magazine in that book. And she's getting married, so she's all like, oh yeah, and everything. So really super fun. But then Miranda pops up, and the two are like, they chit chat again, and shenanigans ensues. It's super fun. I like the second book also. It wasn't as good as the first book, but I did like it. Now there is a third book also called When Life Gives You Lululemons. I have not read that book, so I don't know if they're going to go with that one. Apparently the director for the first movie is coming back, and they haven't released the plot. So they're but they have said that it will be how Miranda, played by Meryl Streep, excellently, by the way, how she's going to have to deal with the fact that magazine sales, people just don't mind magazines anymore, which is true. But I mean, people that are really, really into fashion will buy fashion magazines, but most of the time you can just go online, like on Instagram, and you see these fashion influencers and everything, and they're the ones that, really like sell it, kind of thing. And also you get shows like Project Runway, which I also love that, but I just love watching people do their craft and everything. But so I don't know if this movie will be good. But I can tell you right now, they've already got one person going to be in the seats on opening day because I really love that first movie. There's also, if you want to see not necessarily the business side of it, but see the going ons behind Vogue, there is a movie. It's a documentary kind of movie, and it's called The September Issue. And they talk because the September issue is the biggest issue in Vogue every year. It's got the most pages and all that stuff. But but it talks about how like that issue gets made and everything. And it also goes through, you also get a sense of how each month the magazine is put out. So it's really great. I love that movie too. There's a lot of really good movies like that. If you're not like, you don't have to necessarily be into fashion to appreciate that kind of thing. Although I do think like Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief at Vogue, she is definitely, she's a hard lady. She can be a C word sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good time. I cannot wait. I hope everybody comes back, and I'm definitely going to be there. So yay. All right, you guys. So that was my first story of the week. So for my second story of the week. All right, you guys. So bad news bears if you are a fan of the Kevin Costner movie Horizon, an American Saga. So it looks like chapter 2 is getting a delayed theatrical release. And the reason they're doing this is because now this article, I got it from Deadline. Again, I'm not going to go through the article and read it to you. I used to do that, but I'm not going to do that now. But I'm just going to tell you what's doing. So here's what's going on. They want audiences to find the first chapter of this movie, whether that's through the theaters or through streaming. And it hasn't released on streaming yet. The digital release for that will be July 16th as of filming this. I personally am going to purchase it because I do want to see this movie. I've heard good things about it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not really into Westerns. I don't know about you. I personally am not into them, but I do. I love Kevin Costner. I saw an interview with him. He was talking about this movie, and he first off, I sometimes people say he's a jerk, but I can see how he's just like a real regular kind of person. And I like that about him. So the second thing that he said in this interview was that and that was for Howard Stern. He said that he doesn't care if this, and he thinks this movie will make its budget back, which was $100 million. And they filmed both part 1 and part 2 back to back. Or together, and they're about ready to film part 3. And this is apparently a 4-part, saga, which I'm all like, listen, if the first one's good, I'll watch the second one. But if the second one's bad, I'm not watching the third one. I'll tell you that right now. I don't love Westerns that much, but I don't hate them enough to not watch the first chapter. Anyways, so he said that he thinks that it will make its money back through the ancillary market. And that's through digital and through, streaming or whatnot, which this will go on Max. I don't know when. And I think that might be true also. I do think that, I do, because he paid for this movie himself, him and Coppola, they both paid for these movies themselves because they believed in these projects. And I do think he did get his Yellowstone crowd to come see it. My wife watches that show, Yellowstone. I don't watch that show. I was going to start watching it, but by the time I wanted to watch it, I think there were like 4 seasons in. I was like, I don't have that kind of time to put into it. If I could do it weekly, then I would. But and then at the time, I believe the latest season was coming out like soon or whatnot. I don't remember. But anyways, so this is getting a delay. And the reason they're delaying the theatrical release is because they want people to find that first chapter. They want people to watch the first movie. So they're going to keep it in theaters. They're going to push back the date, which I believe they said in here was November. Don't quote me on that because I can't remember. August. It was supposed to come out on August 16th. And they're like I said, they're pushing it back. Now, they want people to find the first movie, but then they also want to give it more of a chance to breathe, because they just don't think that people really, because they said most of the people that are going to watch it are 50 years and older. And I think that might be true. This is probably, Westerns are kind of for an older crowd. And I think that might be true, because I personally would not go and see it. But they're talking about, what are they going to do when they do release it? Will they do just day and date where they release it in the theaters and on digital? because when chapter 1 goes on digital on the 16th of July, the movie will still be in theaters, which works out well. If you guys back a little bit, when Puss in Boots came out too, I went and seen that in the theater, but it was on digital. But I wanted to see it in the theater and see how cool it was, you know? And yeah, and I paid for a movie ticket. So, well, I paid for 4, but yeah, so these people, these studios are realizing that you can put it on streaming, but people really love going to the movies. They love that movie experience. I know I do. The only problem with me is it's just freaking expensive, because if it's a movie that's an animated movie, I have to take both my kids. You know, if it's just me and my wife, or it's just me, it's not as bad, because I'll just buy, 2 tickets and then popcorn and a soda. And if I'm really hungry, I'll buy a pizza or something like that. But what do I think about this? And maybe what do you think about this? I think maybe this is a smart decision, because I think that if you want to make your money back, I think that keeping it in the theaters is a good idea. The problem is they don't want to release chapter 2 when chapter 1 is still trying to make its money. So I think that holding off a little bit longer is a solid idea. And I think that this is a smart move. I think Kevin Costner is doing, the smart thing here by not releasing this right off the bat. But I do think that I don't know if it's going to make its money back. That I can't tell you, because I just don't know, if it's going to work, but we'll see. And I hope he does make his money back. I appreciate that he invested in himself, and he was like, no, I believe in this project. I believe in the work. I think this can be made, and I want to make this movie. So I'm going to put my money on where my mouth is. But him and Coppola both broke the golden rule, and don't use your money. You use your other people's money to finance your movie. But we'll see how this all turns out for him. I hope it works and everything. Yeah, just because I feel like when you take big, bold chances like this, I really want you to get, rewarded. So we'll see. But yeah. All right, you guys. So that was my second story of the week. So for my third and final story this week. All right, you guys. So the rumor mill is a churning, and if this one's true, I don't like it. Now, the rumor is that Kumail Nanjiani has been cast as Booster Gold in the DCU. And I just have to say, let me pull up this article. This is the article, and this is from MovieWeb. I'm not going to read it to you again. I'm just going to leave it up because I like this picture of Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, which those comic books were actually pretty good. They were pretty funny. I like Booster Gold as a character. I just don't know if Kumail Nanjiani is the best person for it. But we'll talk about that in just a second. So who is Booster Gold? So Booster Gold is the guy on the left of this picture, the guy in gold. And he's basically just like a loser. He's like a big loser, but he's in the future. So he's in like the 30th century or the 31st century. I can't remember off the top of my head. Don't get mad at me if I get it a little bit wrong. You guys sometimes get crazy with this shit. So he time travels back in time and becomes a superhero, and he just uses future tech to be a superhero, which is fine. He's got like a little floating like computer-y thing or whatnot. He's really funny. I do like Booster Gold as a character because he's funny and everything. But I don't know how I feel about Kumail Nanjiani being cast as him. So this is the thing. I like Kumail Nanjiani when he's doing comedy, because I liked his stand-up. He was very funny and everything. But he was crappy in the Eternals. He was just no good. He was crappy in this recent movie, the Ghostbusters movie that he was in. It just was not good. I didn't like it. You liked it, great, but I didn't like it. And he was terrible in Star Wars. He wasn't good in that Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I mean, the show overall sucked, but he was not good in it. And it's just making me think like maybe Kumail Nanjiani isn't like the best actor. But I saw that movie that he wrote with his wife about him and his wife and how they met, and it was really good. But I just don't know anymore. Like when are we going to give this buff dude, and his face does not look like that anymore. His face looks different. But when are we going to give this? Well, how many chances are we going to give this guy before we realize that he's just not good at this job, And but at the same time, in saying this, at the same time, if this is good and he's good in it, whatever it is, I can't remember if it's a TV show or a movie, then I'll praise it up and down. I'm going to give it a chance. I'll watch anything DC. I love DC. DC is like my favorite when it comes to comics. I just really love it a lot. I do like Marvel, but I don't love Marvel. The only thing I like really from Marvel are like the X-Men and everything. But DC, I love DC. I love all aspects of DC, especially Aquaman. He's my favorite. But I do wonder how this is going to go down. Will they have Blue Beetle in there? You know, the old school Blue Beetle. Because if you ever read those comic books, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, they like feed off of each other and everything. You know, Booster Gold being the goofy one, and Blue Beetle, the first Blue Beetle, being like, you know, more like of a serious guy. And it's very funny, those comic books, or at least I thought they were. But I don't know if Kumail Nanjiani is the perfect pick. I mean, I thought Glenn Powell was a great pick if they pick somebody for Booster Gold. But again, this is just a rumor. But I mean, well, I'm just going to take it like it's true right now, just for the sake of this video to comment on it. And I don't think it's the right choice, but I'm willing to give it a chance. All right, you guys. So those are my 3 stories this week. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about The Devil Wears Prada getting a sequel? You know, are you excited about this? Do you love Devil Wears Prada, the book and the movie? Or did you just see the movie and you didn't read the books? Did you read that sequel novel, the follow-up one? And how did you feel about it? Because I personally, I liked it. Like I said before, it wasn't as good as the first novel, but I did like it. So that's, you know, a win for me. And are you going to go see this movie when it comes out? I'm going to see it opening day for sure. I'm going to take my wife. We're going to go and everything. And because she, you know, she deals with my nonsense. But I'm excited for this movie and I can't wait to see it. Also, tell me how you guys feel about this Kevin Costner, this Horizon movie, this chapter 2, pushing back their theatrical release date. Do you think this is a smart move like I do? Or do you think this is a misstep and they should release it so that way you can go see chapter 1 and then go see right after that, go see chapter 2? Although they're like 3 hours long. Like, who's got that kind of time? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll probably watch this once. I'll buy it, but I'll watch it once. Then I'll be like, I don't need to return here. But maybe I'll change my mind after I see it. But do you think this was a good move on Kevin Costner and the studio's part? Or do you think that they should just release it and get it out there into the world? And then finally, tell me, how do you guys feel about this rumor of Kumail Nanjiani playing Booster Gold? Are you like me and you think this is a misstep on their part? And that maybe James Gunn, although I trust James Gunn, I really do, but I don't know if he cast Booster Gold or if it was whoever's doing the project cast Kumail Nanjiani. But if James Gunn cast him, then I have to be honest with you. I trust James Gunn. I've said it before. I've said it a million times and I'll say it again. I like James Gunn. I like his writing. I like his style. Everything that he has put out, except for his trauma stuff, because I didn't see it, I have liked it. So I trust him and I'm willing to give it a chance. I just don't think this was the right choice, in my opinion, of casting. But like I put up a picture of him as Booster Gold and he doesn't look that bad, you know? So, I mean, but you know, it is what it is, but let's see how this turns out and then we'll move forward. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Tell me what you guys think about all of this. You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next week in review. You guys have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my week in review.